Is it just me, or did this New Year sneak up a little bit quicker than any other year? I don't know what it is about this year, but just the fact that the New Year is in 2 weeks is absolutely crazy to me. I'm still in disbelief. But if you're wanting to start off the New Year on the right foot, then it is time to get serious. The very first thing we're gonna do is to start out with an outer cleanse. Having a nice little reset, refresh, just feeling clean will just make it so much easier to get your life together. I'm seriously so excited to shower right now. It's the winter time. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't shaved my legs in like a little bit too long. They're pretty bad. It happens to the best of us, okay? I already feel so much better. It just feels so good to be clean, and I also put on a comfy outfit, something that I feel confident in but can also get work done in. Put on some leggings. We're feeling good. The outer cleanse is not done yet though, because we are going to be doing some skincare. In 2023, a lot of people started prioritizing self-care, but I feel like 2024 is going to be the self-care year. So we got to get on top of our skincare routine. I already washed my face in the shower, but I'm going to go ahead and do everything else. I use a whole bunch of different products. You really don't need anything crazy. The most important things are to make sure to wash your face and moisturize. But I'm a little addicted to skincare, so I use like a million products. I also forgot to mention sunscreen. That's like one of the most important skincare products. Make sure you're wearing a sunscreen every single day. Skincare is just so therapeutic for me. I love it so much. Personally, I always feel the most confident when I feel really put together, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my makeup really quick. Ta-da! Makeup is done. We're gonna finish off the outer cleanse by cleaning our rooms, because we are not going into 2024 with a messy room, and also a clean space just helps declutter your mind. I just feel like my anxiety levels are like a lot lower when my room is nice and clean. Once you're feeling good and clean on the outside, we're gonna do an inner cleanse. We did the outside, and now it's time for the inside. And part of that includes stuff like eating healthy and whatnot, but we're specifically gonna be focusing on self-reflection and inner work, and just planning in general to help just kind of organize our mental and emotional space. So we're gonna start off by doing that by reflecting back on our past year. So for me, I'm starting by going through all of my New Year's resolutions from 2023, just to kind of reevaluate how I did. I actually wrote them all out in my 23rd journal at the start of the year. So it's really easy for me to just like look back and reflect on my resolutions and to see if I like did a good job at achieving them or not. I basically had separated my goals into different categories and then like wrote about each one. If you journal throughout the year, you can also read back on old journal entries just to get like a refresher of how things went for you in the past year. I'm actually making a video really soon where I read back and reflect on a whole year's worth of journal entries, so stay tuned for that. But also, if you don't journal, you literally can just like think back and reflect on your year. Maybe look through your camera roll to see what pictures you have to like kind of jog your memory of things that had happened in the year. Literally just think about the year, the good, the bad, what you improved on, what you'd still like to improve on. After reflecting back on everything, you want to establish your priorities. Who do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to become? You don't necessarily need to have like your entire life direction figured out. You don't need to know like the exact specific person that you want to be, but just figure out the goals that are most important to you. Do you want to become stronger, more organized, wake up earlier? Is there something you've been working on or creating recently? Is there a job that you're wanting to get? My problem is that I want to do so many things always, but at the end of the day, you can't do everything. You can't be everyone, all these different versions of yourself. You do have to choose what your top priorities are and focus on those, and then other things can fall into place where you have room. So figure out those non-negotiables for yourself, and then when you have additional time, you can work on the other things that you still want to achieve. From here, I really suggest you write about it, similar to how I did at the start of this year. It's a great way of holding yourself accountable and being able to track your growth and progress. I actually have a video coming out in a couple days too that I'm going to be uploading where I show you guys how I wrote about my New Year's resolutions for this upcoming new year. So stay tuned for that. Also, just a side note, I'm trying to get out a few extra uploads around the new year. So just keep your eyes out on Wednesdays, because I believe that's when I'm going to be posting some extra uploads. I'll link the journaling resolutions video down in the description once it's uploaded, but just in general, the more specific you write about it, the better. Don't just write about what the goal is, but write about what you need to do to achieve the goal and how you're going to do that. I also encourage you to make little goals that can add up to big results. You basically just want to break down those big goals into little actionable steps. For example, if you're wanting to get into shape, you could just write down, I want to get in shape, but like, what does that look like? Instead, you could write down a lot of smaller goals in order to achieve that. You could say you're trying to run a certain amount of miles every single week, or a certain amount of push-ups every single day. You could plan out the days of the week that you want to go to the gym versus do an at-home workout. In general, just make like a plan for how you're wanting to achieve your goals. And I feel like having those little goals broken down makes the big goal feel a lot less intimidating and just more achievable in general. Another great thing to do is working working on your time management. I mean, we all know time management. It's a lot easier said than done, people. It's hard, especially with how many distractions we have nowadays. But one of the biggest things I recommend to help build your time management is time blocking. This is something that I do all of the time, and it's so helpful for me. I will literally block out every single hour of my day and plan out what I'm gonna be doing for those hours. So I'll say like, wake up at this time, then I'm gonna go get ready, and then by this time I'm gonna eat breakfast, and then by this time I'm gonna be working on this, and then this time I'm gonna go to the gym, and this is when I'm having my lunch. And I'll do that for the whole day. And just like I said with the goals, the more specific the better. So if you literally break it down like that, then it's just like a really great way to hold yourself accountable. And I feel like it's just a lot easier to get stuff done when you have a visual layout of the things that you still need to get done, because it's just like a constant reminder of the things you're still wanting to do for the day. If you're gonna do that though, I definitely recommend like being okay with some flexibility. Like try to make it your goal to achieve all of those things, but like sometimes we over or underestimate the amount of time that it'll take to do a certain activity or task. So just kind of like have some wiggle room there if needed. Anyway, once you're done with the inner cleanse, it's time to get serious about building the habits and putting them into action. Cultivating habits is so necessary in order to reach your long-term goals. You want to start implementing those things ahead of time before the new year so that you can already be building it into your routine. Consider this time before the new year like your trial run, just to kind of get into the swing of everything before kicking it into high gear for the new year. Ideally, you're already working towards those habits and goals, because although the new year is like a really great reset, you don't necessarily need to start right on January 1st. It's actually better if you start like beforehand and just use that like January 1st as like a mental shift of like really being serious about things. But if you're already serious about it ahead of time, then it's just gonna make it so much easier to be serious about it in the new year. At the end of the day though, if you have a goal that's really important to you, then you shouldn't put it off until the next day and the next day and the next day, or the new year or whatever. Like if it's really important to you, you should go ahead and start working towards it as soon as you can. Because we have 2 more weeks of this year, this is the time that we can be getting in the rhythm of all of those habits, all of those goals, and prioritizing the things that are most important to us so that we can start the new year even stronger. And ideally, it'll just become a part of your routine. It won't even be like a goal anymore that you're having to achieve. For example, like with my journaling, that used to be a goal. That was actually my New Year's resolution on January 1st of 2017 to journal every single day for that year. And at first that was like a really big goal for me. Like it was very specific that I wanted to do it every day. I had the rules for myself of doing at least 1 page a day, etc., etc. But now, just because I've been doing it for so long, this new year will be 7 years since I started doing that, and I haven't stopped since. It's no longer like a goal that I do for myself every year. It's not like when I'm making my list of New Year's resolutions, I'm like, oh, okay, this year I'm gonna journal every single day for the year. It's not a goal anymore. It's just a part of my lifestyle. It's a part of my routine. It's literally like in my blood at this point. And that's how you kind of want any of your goals to be. You want it to just become fluid in your lifestyle. So keep that in mind if you're making like health focused goals. Ultimately, you want your goals to shift into your routine to the point where they don't even feel like goals. I also really want to emphasize the importance of balance and giving yourself grace. Ultimately, you know yourself the best. You know more than anybody when you need to rest and when you could keep pushing. That being said, don't be afraid to push yourself. Don't be afraid to do the hard things, because you have to do those hard things and push yourself out of your comfort zone in order to have forward momentum. Even if you really don't want to, you got to. But at the same time, we're human. We need rest. We're flawed. We're not perfect. We can't do everything all the time. And if you focus too much on needing to achieve your goals, on trying to force a timeline that isn't meant to be, then you could ultimately get wrapped up in that, and that could set you back further than if you were to just give yourself some grace, understand that your timeline might not match up with what ends up happening, and that's okay. Things are gonna happen when they're meant to be. It's okay if you make a mistake. It's okay if things don't happen exactly how you had originally planned. Maybe you need to reevaluate your goals. Maybe you need to adjust or tweak some things, but just don't give up on what's most important to you. I know that it's gonna take time. Maybe a little bit of time, maybe a whole lot of time, but be realistic about how long it's going to take and just the trial and error that's gonna be needed in order to get there. But also remember that you can do anything you set your mind to. If you make it up in your mind that you want to achieve a goal and you have the attitude that you can do it, then what's holding you back? Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. Give it a thumbs up if it was, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Also comment anything down below that I might have missed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video, which will be out on Wednesday. Bye guys!